Hi there, Miss Lambs here. Finally, we reached the last criteria E, engagement, in the IB Biology Extended Essay. So let's get started. So this is just a screenshot of the score band in the criteria E, engagement. So the engagement has two parts. One is the reflection on the planning, okay, another one is the reflection on the progress. So mainly two parts you need to think about. One is the description. Okay, so you should first of all, at first to minimum level, you can see that it's mostly descriptive. But later on, okay, because the whole idea of engagement should involve a lot of reflections, okay? And then you need to also show how your thinking process do, what obstacle you face, and then how do you try to overcome that, okay? So here, you can see that. So first level is descriptive. Second level, then you start to talk about what problems you face, okay, and then how you overcome it. And then later on, you need to evaluate it, okay. So how you respond to challenge experienced, okay. So yes. And the next one, okay. So when it comes to unpack criteria E, I have also highlighted the key things. You'll notice that there's two colors. Okay, so engagement with the process. So what happens? Okay, so you need to briefly mention about what happens in your essay. Okay, and the next one is engage with the research focus. So for example, you also reflect on how you choose your research data, how you use those research data and things like that. So but one thing to look out for is like you should use your student voice rather than just saying that, oh, my supervisor told me to do this. So that's not what they want in the reflections, in the engagement part. Okay, so let's look at the PDF annotated by Ms. Rawat. So thank you, Ms. Rawat, for that. Let's take a look. So as you can see here, there's another separate form called RPPF. Okay, so that is the reflection form you do on ManageBag. And for this session, criteria E, okay, we only mark based on the free reflection that you have done on the RPPF. Okay, so only the free reflections. There's also a section that is where supervisor will write a few comments, but those sections will not be marked. So basically for the section E, okay, for section E engagement, they will only use the free reflection that you have written on RPPF to it, okay, so they will mark on that. So a few things I want to also highlight is the following. So for example, you should reflect on how you approach and what strategy you use related to it, to your EE. Approach to learning. So for example, this is a bit related to the TOK. So how you obtain these resources, okay, that you have developed and the effect as a learner. Also time management is one of them as well. And how do you adapt to the changes or obstacle that you face, okay. And question that emerge as a result of the research. Okay, so after you have done the research, is there any further questions that makes you think about the world a bit more? Okay, and then I think this is very interesting. They will say, what will you do differently if you are doing the research again? Okay, things like that. So it's a journey. Okay, basically it's a journey. Okay, about how you think. Okay, throughout the exam essay. And this is the exam report. Okay, so according to exam report, they say that most of the reflection are very descriptive, but actually what the examiner is looking for is being very reflective, should be reflective or evaluate your actions and things like that. And do not confine yourself saying that, oh, the supervisor told you to do this, do that. That is not what they're looking for. Okay, maybe you can mention, oh, supervisor advised you to work on certain directions, and then you think about it, and then you work on it, and then see what obstacle it. You can describe those, that's fine, but don't expect just say, oh, your supervisor told you to do so and you can gain points on that. No, because after we have spoken to you, okay, have given some direction, you still need to think about how you walk down this lane. Okay, so yeah. And the quality of reflection seems to improve throughout the 3 stages with more analytical and more evaluative statement. Now, this too is very important. So you need to analyze the data and see, is that, or your reference, is that useful? And then evaluate the statement again. Evaluate the statement. And the third reflection, now third reflection is actually done after you have submitted the EE, okay? So and after you have submitted the final draft for EE, then we'll have a EE meeting, and then you will write your third reflection, okay? So it's more comprehensive. It's kind of like your overall experience, your overall feeling. You can write feelings, okay, after you have completed the whole extended essay. As a result, a bigger impact on the overall judgment, okay? So reflective, okay, so it must be reflective. We do give the supervisor do give comment, but that's not the scoring point. Yes, okay, so yeah, all right. But you will notice that there's some, although the supervisor comment is not the scoring point, but what examiner are looking for is whether there's a common agreement between the supervisor and the candidate. And it's important that, like, for example, you think that, oh, you follow up the things a lot of time, but then if the supervisor was saying that, oh, you didn't follow up, okay, in the meeting or things like that, then that might be a contradiction and it could affect the score. So again, when you have your EE meeting, make sure you prepare for it. Don't just walk in there with a blank idea, no idea what's going on. Okay, so prepare for your EE meeting. So that is a very important part. All right, so moving on. So summary. Okay, so again here they mentioned the two strands in the criteria E engagement, which is reflection and personal engagement, and the judgment based exclusively on the evidence of free reflection that you have done on the RPPF, okay, which is on the managed back, okay, and the teacher comments only provide context, okay, so it's not the scoring point, and a good reflection should be detailed and evaluative, okay, so you reflect on it, you show it should be the reason why we have this session is to show how students make their choice, okay? So you need to show the examiner how you make the decisions in your student voice, okay? And throughout, okay, from description to analytical to evaluative, okay? So yeah, so from description and then analytical and then evaluative statement throughout. And then the third reflection is quite comprehensive. So that is like the overall experience of it. So it should have a bigger impact. So you can put it this way, there should be a higher weighting on the reflections. Again, so overall should be descriptive and should be reflective in this criteria E. Okay, so here is I find something about the some examples, like some approach to the first, second, and third reflections. So the first reflection is the planning stage. Okay, so you will talk about several topics that you have researched, and then you've spoken to the supervisor, and then suggest the direction of the path, and then what else you have done. Okay, so and then the key thing is, so basically this is like prompting you the planning stage. Okay, what are the ideas? What do you do in the EE meetings? And then very importantly to mention, outline the next step. So after that, what is your next step? Okay, what is your next step? And hopefully you can refine your questions. Okay, and then the second reflections expect the following. Here the progress, you need to show what progress you have done. Okay, and this part is quite analytical and start to be a little bit reflective as well. What problems you have faced and how you have overcome it. So this is the process, okay, of it. And critically evaluate. Okay, so yeah, how you have, what points are you looking at to evaluate the source of your data? So for example, in the previously we mentioned you look at where it's published, the time, and things like that. Now at this stage, as second reflection, you should have a clear and refined research questions now, and a better vision of what is the next steps and so on. Okay, and here, oops, hold on, it's here easier to see, is that the final reflection should not take place until after the, okay, so here they were just mentioning the final ones, which is the third one. Oh, okay, the third one here is that it's not done until you have submitted. Okay, so actually the last reflection will be done after you have submit your final draft, okay, final version of an EE to IBO, and then afterwards you have an EE meeting, and then you talk about it, and based on that you write your third reflections. Okay, so next one, I will put a link here, so feel free to look at the source. And third one is, okay, so it's a holistic evidence of your learning experience. So previously, okay, in part one, okay, in first reflection, we talk about the planning. Second reflection is talk about the analytical and also the evaluative part. And third one is the evaluating and reflecting the whole EE experience, okay? And reflect on the success and difficulty you encounter in research process. And just now we mentioned that, like, if you were done again, how will you do it differently? Okay, so here, okay, and also it should end positively, because after all, you have done a 4,000 word extended essay, which is quite a large piece of work. So we should celebrate your achievement for success, okay, for completing the extended essay. Again, I will put all this link onto the video description below. Please feel free to pause the video and read through them. Okay, there you go. First reflections, second reflection, third reflections. Okay, and then I will also post up the link some of the sample biology E from IBO as well. And that's about it. So I hope this video helps you and guide you through Criterion E engagement part. And you got this, okay? So stay positive, okay? So add oil and good luck. Thank you and bye bye.